Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Just Roll It Already. I'm your awesome host, Daryl.
I'm your other host, Jeremiah.
And I'm the rules lair, John.
Okay, welcome to Tales from the Couch, the game that we go around table and we sit there and we give out the stories of the day. And the stories of the day is going to be games that we wish that never ended prematurely. So, who wants to take this one?
Well, since you two are staring at me, I guess
Staring intently.
I will start.
My eyes will burn into your skull.
I was a kid. I was probably about 9 or 10 years old.
You went to see the
circus.
I went to Disneyland and I strangled Mickey Mouse. No,
You left the. You fled the
yeah, no,
circus.
I Skeletor hugged me. No, I was playing in a game. I think it was my friend who was the DM at the time, of which can't remember. It was because I don't know why. Throughout my entire life, I've just hung with people who were like 10 years older than me. They were college kids, but I was playing a cleric, and it was my rendition of Orzhov Sunshield, the albino cleric of Pelor the Sun God. And I was working, we were contracted, and my friend who was with me was a paladin. We were both contracted to be in this tower to try and cull the undead plague. Like, we were scientists. It was I Am Legend. Before I Am Legend, like, this was, like, I was 10. That was, like, back in 2002 when I was 10 years old. So this is way before I Am Legend. It's original. Like, we're inside of a tower, and we have, like, below the tower, there's, like, 3 jail cells with, like, zombies, like, chained up in 3 different stages. And we're, like, dissecting them and taking out their goo and analyzing it with crude, old-fashioned, like, medical supplies and trying to figure out what's causing the plague. And, it was awesome. Like, we had, like, this Dawn of the Dead or Night of the Living Dead experience with, like, I Am Legend attached to it, like, trying to fight the undead as a paladin and cleric. And eventually we got, like, a druid who lived in this woods. And also the setting, it's really vivid in my mind because it was autumn. It was just this tower in the middle of this wheat field in autumn, so orange leaves everywhere, and there's on the prefaces that there's always an undead horde right out there to devour us. It was just delicious, and it ended up reverse Frankenstein. Like, we're in the windmill, and all the zombie villagers are outside with pitchforks and torches, and we're just like,
That's fun.
We're the only normal ones here.
yeah, it was just odd. And eventually, like, at the end of the campaign, we all started, like, getting killed off. Like, it finally was down to the original 2 party members, like the druid, the rogue, and the fighter. They died off. Like, the fighter had a grenade and went out cliche movie style, like, ah. Like, it was just me and the paladin and the cleric. Or, no, me, the paladin and the cleric, and the cleric was me. Me, myself, and Irene. No, but no, the cleric, the paladin and me, sorry, the paladin and me were just at the top of the tower, just like, yeah, and just kind of did that panorama of where the camera kind of zooms out as it watched the fellow adventurers on their last leg as they die. It was beautiful. It was poetic. I wish that would have continued a bit longer. That was probably one of the best campaigns I was ever in.
I'm going to say the game that I wish that did not end. This was a game that I originally started, but then one of my friends who, I don't know, well, nobody knows him anymore because he moved away a long time ago. He sat there and we started playing this game I created, this world I created about everything, and then he said, I want to run this game now. I feel like I can do this. And I said, you know what, cool. Here you go. So I hand him the sheets about the world, I give him the maps, I give him the compasses, and give him the places of note and the people of importance. Then he started running a game. This is his first game he's ever ran, and it was 3.5 D&D, and it was a very interesting game because it was a complex political struggle about this family of nobles. The king of this country died. His wife disappeared, his child was missing, and his cousin was trying to take over control, but everyone said he was too far from the bloodline that he couldn't do anything. And then an entire war broke out in this entire country. Then factions developed, houses struggles, new politicians try to rise, and we had to choose. And we chose, and it was a blast. We sat there, went to this guy named, I called him Curvy, but his name was really long, like Curvoscavin Charles, something like that.
Curvy v Slim. I don't know.
Let's just call him Curvy. And this guy Curvy, he had his own entire palisade, his own defense. He was the most strongest military. He wasn't strongest military, but he had the best defense. And we're sitting there, going off on these missions and stuff. We're doing all these things. We're having a lot of fun, and me and the group is going along. And he who shall not be gainsaid found out about it. He popped in. He killed everything for us, and we sat there and he said, "Great, we just lost this game because of him." We can't play it anymore. I tried to bring it back from the ashes after the guy got mad and left because he who shall not be game told him he was the suckiest game master he ever seen, right to his face, and all these other crap going on. And I sat there and I said, man, you are a prick.
Wasn't that his? That was the first game he DM'd.
It was the very first game he DM'd.
So he just though
He
who
killed-
that should not be game destroys his confidence as a game master.
he completely
Wow.
destroyed it.
Let's just put a shout out there. If you're a first time game master and somebody tells you you suck, just ignore them or punch them in the mouth. One of the two.
Well, no,
'Cause-
it's
because-
just he laid into him. He destroyed him. He just told him everything was wrong. And I sat there and I was like, this guy is amazing. He's better than you. And he said, no one's better than me.
Yeah, I imagine he would say something like that.
And I'm looking at this horrified. I'm like, dude, he's not a bad game master. You just showed up. You found out we were gaming. You just showed up with a character. And you didn't even ask. And you pushed yourself in. Great. So the guy called me up and says, I'm not going to play anymore. I think gaming's ruined for me. He who shall not be gamed destroyed one of the greatest game masters I've seen. And he just started.
That's horrendous.
It was horrible. I sat there and I shed a small tear in my heart.
You should have broke he who should not be gamed kneecaps.
Well, he still had function of his hands after that, so he could throw dice. I would probably just end up removing his
Break
fingers.
his thumbs.
Break his thumbs, yes.
Because then he can't hold dice. Because he has to do it this way.
Yeah, like everyone can see it on the microphones.
Oh yeah, I can see. If
everyone
you don't know,
does.
I'm just holding my thumbs out, and I'm trying to imagine holding your thumbs out because they're in braces, and trying to roll dice with just your fingers because both sides are open. You're not gonna get a
They're
good
gonna
roll.
fly out.
They're gonna fly out left and right,
Yeah, but
literally.
It's messy.
But even at that point, I looked at that and I wish to this day I would run it, but it just does not have the same feel of it. I know everything from start to finish, every single thing he did. He handed me all the entire stack of notes, which I wish I could find and showed you guys right now, but I can't find them.
Also, bad memories too.
Bad memories, yeah, but I just wish it was just done justice, and I wish I could have seen the end of it because we got really far into it. We sat there and we found out who the assassins were, found out who the assassins. We were going after the assassins. We had one of them, but we accidentally killed him, and then we found out he had a partner, and we were trying to get him, and it was really close, and we were set up this trap and everything, and he who should not be game went and killed the guy because he's a douche, and yeah, it just. Gosh, I want to play it so bad right now.
The game I can think of that I really wish hadn't ended, but ended not because of anything dramatic. It kind of fell off, and which was kind of sad. It was a Rifts game. A friend of mine, James Beal, he ran it so elegantly, and it's my first time playing Rifts at the time, and he was excellent at just helping me get started. Because if Rifts normally is you have to roll D percentiles, and that's what you get. You can D percentile and you pick a book. He kind of said, okay, well, I'll let you choose, what you are, and then you can start from there and then just roll D percentiles to kind of build. So I ended up making a frog with man fists. had superhuman, it had one higher than superhuman strength, so he could throw tanks. Well, not a tank, but an old school tank. He could throw a VW bug, but he was a frog. He was 5 pounds. But he could throw a VW bug. He also had energy emanation, so he basically had if you held him, you could use him as a laser cannon
So he's a literal frog.
So pretty
I
much,
expected a
imagine
frogman.
holding you
with
you-
man fists.
So you're holding this frog with man fists, and it opens its mouth, and you're like, "Fire the toad!"
Find my laser.
I'm firing my blade, blah, and then it's just face. But no, I carried a shotgun, and
no.
and what the story was is Rifts, right? It's based loosely around the idea of parallel dimensions, because everything there's magic, there is psychic energy. All these things are explained with PPE, potential psychic energy, ley lines, magic. That's all PPE, but. The rifts open up and they allow parallel dimensions to filter through. And I was from a parallel dimension where I was a genetic experiment sent into Vietnam. So I was a Vietnam veteran frog who carried a bottle of Jack Daniels and a big bandit big bore shotgun, which does mega damage because it's mega and critical or mega and structure. Structures are like humans. My fists did mega damage, so I could punch a person to death with one blow. But anyway, my point is, I was playing this awesome frog, and everyone else had really uber characters as well. But my frog was kind of more utility, and I was easy to transport. And one of the best things I remember about this game is we had to calculate the velocity and speed at which you had to throw a frog for a near sound speed of sound moving train, how hard you had to throw it in the opposite direction to cause it to stand still. But it turns out that force would kill me, so he had to throw me up. So at that point, I had to use the other ability I had, which was distort space, in order to make the ground closer and then further away, so that I could alter my speed as I descended.
Okay.
And it gets down to like this many meters. Like you have to actually do the math. Like that's what I really liked about the game.
And you talked all this,
but
but-
James, he made it so easy to get into, and the character I built was just fun. And I really wish it hadn't ended. Like it just ended for no reason. I think there was like work came in the way or something like that.
The thing about your story is like the entire time all I could think of was cereal.
Kermit.
The cereal. The
Cereal?
Smacky the Frog. Or,
Oh, Smacky.
yeah, that's all I could think about. Like you're like, oh yeah, all this science and blah blah.
Oh,
blah.
Sugar Smacks.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, so science and blah blah blah. I'm like, man, I didn't have breakfast this morning.
Those have to be some of the worst games you could ever see end. Like, they just end abruptly. No explanation. At least Jeremiah and I, we had a good reason. Who should not be game came in and destroyed mine, as usual. And you...
Well, everybody just died. Like, it just ended
Yeah.
with... It was supposed to be a short campaign, but it's like, that would have been a great campaign to just go. Like,
Yeah.
just to go with it.
Well, how about one more?
One more. Okay, there was one... I don't know if it's sort of selfish to say I didn't want it to end.
Because you ran it, didn't you?
No, I was in it. It was just... It was one of those campaigns like, well... We're all vampires now. We all have deific levels. We all have...
Oh yeah.
We've already multi-classed into everything, and we... You know,
we're all gestalting without actually gestalting.
yeah, I rolled. I'm a gestalt within a gestalt within a gestalt. I'm a gestalt inception.
Gestaltception.
Yeah, that's exactly like we did everything, but I was still hungry. I was so
power.
like this guy made this world that was great. Now I don't remember who the DM because he wasn't my friend, and he was a friend of my friend. And
Oh,
so,
I thought you were gonna say he wasn't a friend. He was just some asshole.
oh, he was just some random guy, and I just joined the game with my friend, and the campaign lasted, I think it was like 7 months, but in that 7 months, we got a lot. The players didn't mess around. We got stuff done. Like, I had the character I've wanted for a long time. I played, like, this lich vampire, like a necromancer kind of guy, who just went out and did his thing, and the DM was not overburdened by our own personal grievances. Like I want to start an undead army and like take over the world. Like, and he's like, that's cool, I'll do that. And like, you know, we just got our stories done. It was amazing. Like, it was
Just fluid. He
Yeah.
rolled with it.
like that DM. Like, I really wish I could find him again because he was a brilliant god. That was, I know that's not much, but that was like my storyline. Yeah.
For
We
me,
became gods. Like,
for
it
me,
was-
this was a game that I wish that didn't end, that I ran. And it was actually the Werewolf the Apocalypse game with you, John.
Really?
Yeah, that one when Kyle just popped in.
Yeah.
It was going so well
Until Kyle popped in.
until Kyle popped in.
Oh,
Because it was just so beautiful. Everyone's having fun. Everyone's getting into it. I'm like running this game. I was like, yeah, come on. Time to catch this big baddie. Come on, everybody. She's right there. She's right there. She's mocking you. She's like waving her fanny at you guys. Go ahead and smack it. But the whole thing about that really sucked is that you guys sat there. I think the reason why you guys enjoyed it was the chase.
Yeah.
The entire time. It was, you're chasing this person. It
is
was
that ironic that we play what would be dogs chasing
chasing a fox?
chasing a fox?
Carmen Sandiego. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Well, the funny thing was, it did happen in San Francisco.
It wasn't. Well, it was moving to San Diego. There you
Oh,
go.
bloody.
Where in the world is Carmen San Diego? Maybe she's in San
San
Diego.
Wow.
San Francisco, maybe. No.
Bloody hell.
She moved a little bit to the north.
Yeah, but like that game was so much fun. We sat there and like
U-Haul receipts.
you guys like hunting down like each of these Kasune who are just these they think they're untouchable, but you guys are proving them wrong. Like some of them are so bold would just out in the open say, yes, I did it. Now you got to catch me.
But then I'd rip them apart.
Well then, but also it just was a lot of fun. Everyone was just having a blast. But then we get this ball from the left field come out of nowhere, and he's trying to play hockey
Yeah.
in a baseball game. Okay.
In the middle of the world, well, in the middle of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, in the middle of the Super Bowl. It made that much sense of him being there.
And the London Olympics.
Yeah. The Special Olympics on the bobsled.
Okay, but we were having a good time, and I had all these notes and everything. And then what happens when he joins? All my notes erupt in flames.
So yeah, these are worthless now. All right.
Yeah,
great.
everything became worthless, and it just made the game not fun.
And a lot of it has to do with building that backstory because it kind of has. You have to weave his whole origin,
His incredibly dramatic
and
backstory.
it has to weave in.
Yes. Anyways, John, your last one.
The only other game I can think of that I really wish had continued was an Aeon Trinity game. For those who don't know Aeon Trinity, it's another White Wolf system. It's set in a sci-fi, cyberpunk future universe. Aliens have been met, but there's only like one race, and they're actually not really humanoid. They're actually they're symbiotic creatures that generally take the form of armor, and they can take on a host essentially. But it's really sci-fi, not really hard science like Eclipse Phase, but it's really sci-fi. A friend of mine was running it, not James Beal, but he had us basically running as what were called latents. Latents had the ability to become scions. Scions are the key principal, like the class system. But you can also play a non-scion. Generally, you start as playing non-scion. You're a latent, because then as you play the game, you kind of flesh out your character, flesh it out. We had gotten to the point where we could undergo the Prometheus effect to gain our psionic abilities, but then my school got in the way, and then it was just, I really would have liked to have seen that progress past me just getting my abilities. It felt like it was just way too short-lived.
Yeah, you were cheated from your...
Yeah, I really, really enjoy the system, and I really, really enjoy the setting.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this one. If there's any kind of like thoughts or topics you guys want us to talk about, please leave them in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, and you can also email us at our Gmail account at justrollalready@gmail.com. Have a good day.
Regret.